I grew up in North Jersey, like right on the border of New York State. And I don't know if you guys know this too, or maybe have felt this throughout your careers as club athletes, but the Northeast and Jersey in particular were not necessarily well known for volleyball. And they weren't really respected. There were very few girls from my area going to play college. No one was really pushing us to play volleyball even in high school. And so I just started playing volleyball honestly to get a break from basketball, try something new. I was really, really burnt out. I was playing for these crazy tournaments every couple of weeks. I was starting to get recruited for basketball and I was burnt out. I just wasn't enjoying it. I didn't love the sport. I was playing because my mom played pro and I thought I should be like her. I was playing because I'd been playing for so long that I couldn't imagine my life without it. And then I started playing volleyball. And if I'm anything like you guys, I just loved it. I loved the team atmosphere. I loved that after every single point, whether I did great or if I did bad, like my team was going to come in and give me a hug or, slap my hand in the circle. And I just had a lot of fun with it. But I wasn't very good at all. Like I was that person for the first 2 or 3 years of volleyball where it's like I'm on their team and people are like, oh, right? Or we're playing Queens and people are like, oh, just hit it at Sydney and you'll win. No, I'm serious. And it was like that for years. But I kept playing. I kept talking to my coaches. And to be honest, I kept going on teams that I just barely made, knowing that I wouldn't be on the court necessarily, but knowing that I was learning from either the best coaches or playing against the best girls each day. But that was really difficult. I mean, I'm sure there's people here who aren't playing as often as they'd like or who feel like they're the worst on the team. And that doesn't last forever. So that's kind of why I started my podcast and why I started talking about it. And then I moved to California. And have any of you guys played a California team at any of your regional or any of your tournaments or anything? Yeah, right? You see Coast, you see Wave, you see Sunshine on your bracket, and you're like, oh crap, right? Imagine moving and realizing you're about to try out against all those girls, right? Only playing for a couple of years, not really knowing things. So I moved to California. I started playing for Coast Volleyball Club down in San Diego, and I started playing at Cathedral Catholic, which, to be as humble as possible, are two of the best programs that you can play for in the country. And now I go out and I speak and I do different things about volleyball. I played in the ACC and people assume, oh, she played at Coast, she played at Cathedral. She's like such a great volleyball player. She's always been great. She knows everything. And that was not the case. I sat the bench for most of my time there until end of my junior year, senior year. And then we ended up having a lot of success and I learned a lot. So the whole point of all of this is that there's a lot of delayed gratification with sports. There's a lot of mental health struggles, and it takes a long time sometimes to get out of that and to realize, the full potential that you have and being able to have the full fun of the sport that you can have. But I always try to remind people that it's the day-to-day thing, right? I didn't just love volleyball because I was playing and we were winning, because a lot of the time I wasn't on the court. I loved volleyball because I was practicing and I was asking questions and I was having fun with my coaches. I went to Cornell. That was my only offer. But now you guys get recruited June 15th of your sophomore year. But when I was in high school, you could get recruited at any time. So almost everyone in my class was recruited before I even knew I wanted to play volleyball. So definitely have gone through the recruiting struggle. Went through it again as a grad transfer, trying to play at Syracuse and kind of fulfilling that dream of playing in the ACC. So that's just a brief thing about my journey and where I've been with volleyball. And I can open up to some questions now. Does anyone want to play volleyball in college? Yeah, raise your hand. Yeah, how's it going for anyone? Does anyone have any questions about that? How's it going? Are you committed or do you know where you want to play? Where are you playing? Oh. I played Pittsburgh. Anyone else? Awesome. Okay. Are you excited to kind of leave home a little bit and do something new? Any worries about that? Maybe?
No, because I'll be 30 minutes late.
I know you guys will both be like in the same area and everything. How many people here have been told that they need to work on their self-talk or like their mental game? Yeah? Me too. I was the worst. I was meaner to myself sometimes during games than other people, and it took all the way until my senior year of college almost to realize that no one was thinking those things but me. Like, I would be playing in a game, and I was captain of my team, and I was playing in a game, and I would make one mistake, and I'd be so mad at myself. I'd be like, everyone's so mad at me, whatever. And I'd leave the game, and everyone's like, you did great. Oh my God, it was a great game. And I'm like, wow, really? Like, maybe I should start listening to people. This is only gonna help work, guys, if you guys ask me a question or we can do some stuff. Middle's in the room. Yeah, go ahead.
What is something that you wish you could tell yourself while you were like getting recruited?
Ooh,
Good question.
that's a great question. I wish that I asked more questions, and I wish that I opened up my recruiting a little bit more. I really loved my experience at Cornell, but I think it would be crazy to say that that was the only place I would have had a good experience, especially volleyball-wise. Like, I didn't know any of the rules about Ivy League and different things like that. Like, so to clarify, so the Ivy League has different rules for Division I players than everyone else, other Division I schools. So slightly less practice hours that you're able to do. You're not really able to miss class. Like, there's different levels of resources and different things. And I didn't even ask that because honestly, I was so scared of whether schools would even recruit me or if I was even good enough that anyone who gave me attention, like, I would just take it. And I would ask the minimum questions. Do you have my major? Like, do you have money for me? And if it was yes, it was good. I wish that I asked more questions and really thought about what I wanted as a person. Because the recruiting process, you're also recruiting them. You're choosing where you're going to spend 4 years, where you're going to spend, your blood, sweat, and tears, and also your good times. So I wish that I was a little bit more open and asked better questions. Maybe some of the younger girls who are thinking about playing in college or, have a big tournament coming up. Yeah.
What was your biggest struggle as a student athlete?
Ooh. I think just adjusting to playing in college and adjusting to, like, you go through club and you go through high school, and like by the time you're a senior or you're about to go play in college, you feel like you're at the top, right? You feel like, oh, I spent all this time looking at the older girls at the club, looking at the seniors in high school, and you're finally there, and you're like, oh, I'm the big fish, and then you go to college and you're kind of back at the bottom again, and it's not a totally different game. I feel like people say that almost to kind of like scare you and like kind of pump themselves up and feel better about how I play in college, like it's a different game. It's not a completely different game, it's still volleyball, but the girls are bigger, they are smarter, and have better volleyball IQ or they've practiced more. So realizing that you just haven't practiced as much as they have yet and not getting too down on myself about that because I couldn't possibly. They're 3-4 years older than me. I could never possibly have as many practice hours as them. But focusing on getting to that, like doing those extra reps and taking, being really intentional in practice about it. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
Was there something that like shocked you when you started playing collegiate volleyball?
I was shocked by like the brands of teams. Like I know you're going to Pitt. When I was actually like, I went to Pitt camp my sophomore year of high school, like going to junior year, and like I got a letter from them. It's been cool how like the volleyball programs that are really big have changed. Like when I was in high school, like the big team was Penn State. Now they're the big team again, they're national champions, but the last 2 or 3 years, like they weren't getting as much media attention and different things. So it's been cool seeing how like the big teams change and like where people dream of playing changes. And I feel like that all goes to show too, like where you're going right now when you get recruited doesn't necessarily mean like that's gonna be when you're done, right? Like if you're, like I was not a recruit that people really wanted. And now I'm going to play pro and I'm like trying to figure out what contract that I should take, right? Like where you start is not gonna be where you end, and it's the same way with brands. I feel like when I was getting recruited, a lot of people were worried about the brand and what was the big school and like, oh, I want to go play in the ACC, I want to play in the Big Ten, but like the big team changes every year. Like San Diego went to the Final Four and they're in the West Coast Conference, and no one's really talking about the West Coast Conference in terms of like national championship teams. So yeah, that's what I would say. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah, I would go back to old habits. So like some of the things that I would constantly tell myself is like, you're not supposed to be here. Like people aren't like listening to you. Like, I could not be on the team and no one would really care. Like that's how I felt. And so I would worry like, oh, you're not making the big play, you're not getting the big kill, like that kind of thing, or I would make a mistake, and then because I wasn't like the best player on the court, I would just be worse and like harder on myself. And how I got through it was actually choosing different skills and different ways to put my value and my thing as a player in. I am a strong offensive player. I have to be able to play on my team and to be able to get on the court. But my real skill is blocking, right? So if I'm not hitting great during a match, I'm not going to get so down on myself and now I can't do any of the other skills, right? I'm going to worry about, hey, what can I contribute to my team? And I feel like that's a really good thing for people who are dealing with self-talk, because what people always tell you is, oh, just think better and just be nicer to yourself. That's really, really hard. It's really hard to just all of a sudden from your mental game, just be like, okay, I'm gonna be better. I do think that there's like proof that helps with that, like physical proof when you actually literally do better in your sport. I think that your self-talk also helps. Obviously, you wanna be trying to be nicer to yourself and practicing that, but also getting into the gym more and working on those skills, you know? Like, take a mental note. Like, hey, when do I get most upset in practice? Am I always angry when serve receive comes around? And now, like, you know, the second we do a serve receive drill, I'm down for the rest of the practice. But yeah, my freshman year, self-talk definitely came back, and that was the moment where I decided, okay, what am I good at? What is going to help with my self-talk and help with me as a player? And that ended up being defense and evaluating what my team needed. And it ended up being defense, and from there I was able to kind of flip that switch, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you ever struggle with the balance of being a student and an athlete?
Yeah, especially at Cornell. So at Cornell I was a psychology major and I did neuroscience. And yeah, I struggled a lot. The hardest part was feeling like a lot of people at the school didn't really respect the fact that I was an athlete. I feel like when you get to college, depending on where you go to school, like a lot of people love athletes and they think it's cool that you're an athlete, and especially big sports schools, right? Like at Pitt, they're gonna love that you play volleyball. It's gonna be the coolest thing. Like, you're gonna have a great time, right? But sometimes people don't believe that you can do both. And sometimes people's belief kind of like made me think, oh, I can't do both. Even though you guys have all been doing both the whole time you've been playing volleyball. You've been going to school, you go to practice, maybe you come back and you do your homework, you're tired, but you wake up and you go to school the next day. It's the same thing when you go to college. You have a few more things on your schedule, and you're mentally tired because you're adjusting. But yeah, I struggled with it, and really what I did, and like a specific hack, and I would start doing this now if you can, I would create specific areas in my calendar. So like, you know, on like Google or like iCal, like you can make like types of calendars and like do them different colors. So I had one for volleyball, and depending on the school I was at, I would either do red or orange. And I had all my volleyball things, meetings, practice, travel, and then I would have one for school. And it would be like, okay, classes, office hours, project meetings. And then I would have one for like activities or like fun. And I would literally put like, oh, there's a club meeting that I would like to go to at this time. Or like, I want to hang out with my friends at this time. And I would just put it in a different color. So I kind of knew like, oh, if it's orange, I have to do that. If it's blue, I have to do that. If it's pink, oh, it's fun, and we can see if it works out. And I think that helps you remember too, like, school's really important, volleyball is really important, but also like who you are is really important, and sometimes people forget that. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. So my college career was a little bit different than historically, because I was a COVID senior, so I was a senior in high school when COVID hit, and then my freshman year the Ivy League actually canceled our season. So my freshman year I was kind of at Cornell training as a volleyball player, but we weren't competing. We didn't really know when we would have a season again. So the NCAA actually gave us another year of eligibility. So after my sophomore year, my coach kind of sat me down and was like, hey, like, you're gonna have another year of eligibility. The Ivy League doesn't allow you to play as a grad student. So do you want to delay your graduation and stay here at Cornell in 3 years? Or, you know, you could start thinking about playing somewhere else. And she was really awesome and was like, I think that you could play Power 5 if we really lock down the next 3 years and you focus on these specific things. And so she kind of encouraged me to maybe think about transferring and going somewhere else. So I kind of knew throughout those 3 years what the next goal was. Syracuse is super funny. We would train like against Syracuse like every spring. Like Erin and I actually just like scrimmaged each other like a couple weeks ago. I think she left at Colgate. We would play like Colgate and Syracuse like every spring just in like our normal scrimmages. And so I kind of knew about the coaches and I kind of knew the team. So eventually we played them and I just kind of reached out to them in October or November of my senior year and just was like, hey, I want to get in the portal. And I chose them specifically. I talked to lots of schools, but I ended up choosing Syracuse because they were Power 5. That was my original goal. I wanted to play in honestly the best conference that I possibly could to prove it to myself. I'm a little bit petty to kind of prove it to the people who told me that I couldn't. And then I really loved the academics part of Syracuse. They mentioned it earlier. I have a podcast called Let's Talk About It, and that's a lot of sports, it's a lot of media, and Syracuse is really well known for that. So I was like, okay, I want to play. I have that opportunity. Now let me choose something that'll be good for my future even when I'm done. I want to plug my podcast for a little bit.
Yeah.
So podcast is called Let's Talk About It. I'll make sure you guys have the link or anything before you leave. I'll like type it in your phone, whatever. It's 15-minute episodes on YouTube, Spotify, like Apple Podcasts, like literally wherever you can watch media, it's on there. Then I also have Instagram, TikTok, and all of that. And every episode we talk about the like honest things that student athletes go through. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I would like Google something and it just was never simple enough, right? Like, how do you do college recruiting? What's college recruiting like? And it's like these like 6 like web pages of like things that are kind of meant for your parents. No one wants to really read that. Or it's not people being fully honest. It's like, oh yeah, like I decided I wanted to play college volleyball, so I got a highlight video and I started sending it to coaches. That's just not enough information, right? Like that doesn't actually make you feel comfortable. So let's talk about it. So we talk about everything, and every episode is a specific topic. We've done medically retiring, we've done life after college or life after your sport, no matter what age you are. We talk about the new stuff with NIL and all the big new things going on in college athletics, like the lawsuits and different things like that. And we actually have a really cool episode with a volleyball recruiting advisor where we talk about, how do you make a good choice like for school, or what's it like when you get on campus, and how do you deal with time management and all of that. We have like a couple more minutes. Anything else? Yeah. Go ahead. Every day. Every day. They have at least 2 autos running around Syracuse at all times. And it's not just on campus. You'll be walking around like the city of Syracuse and you see Otto like in a coffee shop. And Otto does not know personal space. Like you'll be sitting at the library and Otto will sit right next to you, and you're like, I'm writing a paper, Otto, I don't have time to talk to you, and he will grab your laptop and start pretending to like type on your laptop and everything. Yeah, super fun. If you guys ever come to a volleyball game, make sure to say hi to Otto. If you don't, he will make sure he says hi to you. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was hard in the beginning because I always saw basketball as what I would play in college and like what I was meant to do, and I saw volleyball as something that I really loved. So going into like my sophomore year, maybe like the summer going into my junior year when I was playing club for both, and they were both like kind of going into the summer, it was really hard to handle both. I was exhausted, honestly, right? Like you're going to both practices, you love both, but people are telling you that you have to choose one. Like it's really rare to play 2 sports in college. There's lots of people who do it. But anytime you're saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to another, right? I don't really love the model that we've created where you have to, choose just one sport and kind of specialize in that. But I do recognize like how competitive it is now to play in college or to play volleyball at an elite level. So it was definitely hard. I'm glad that I ended up choosing volleyball, but I wish that I could have kept playing basketball maybe at like a more, not casual, but just like, maybe is normal okay to say? Like we're playing volleyball at a pretty elite level. Like we're taking this pretty seriously. Like I wish I could take it just a little bit less seriously and still have fun. And I think if I was doing that, I probably wouldn't have burnt out like I did too. Yeah. I'm from San Diego, California. I chose at first, well, cause I grew up in New Jersey, I was like, okay, I can deal with the snow. I didn't know it was gonna be this snowy. Like Cordell had me take my visit in like September, so like it was cold, it was snowy, but it wasn't like like January and it's still gray. Um, but I would say no because I ended up, it was between a school in California in LA and Syracuse for my 5th year. And I ended up choosing Syracuse and I decided to stay. I feel like location for me too, like it was all about family and people I knew. And we still have a lot of family and friends on the East Coast. And my parents are the best. They come to support for everything. So I wasn't so worried about like the snow or anything like that. None of you guys will be worried about that with recruiting. Like that's really good because a lot of people are like genuinely scared to come out and move to somewhere cold. But the biggest thing for location was, Mom, Dad, will you be able to come to a game at least once a month? Or like, are there family friends that I could go spend Thanksgiving with if we couldn't afford a ticket back to California? And that's a very real thing. Like a lot of people will say, oh, you're not going to be able to see your family anyway, you'll be busy. But I do think if you're someone who's really close with your family or you know you struggle with that, I do think that location is something that you should consider. Or have a real conversation with your parents about, honestly, about money and be like, hey, will you guys be able to travel? Will I be able to afford a flight back home? So yeah. Yeah.
Once you're playing at like a higher level of volleyball, how like what are your tips like preventing burnout? Like you say you got burnt out in basketball, how would you prevent that happening in volleyball?
Okay, I want to repeat your question so I know that I heard you right. You said, how do I prevent burnout playing an elite level of volleyball? Okay. Um, One, you have to love what you do when you do it. There's a lot of reasons to go play volleyball in college that I don't want to ignore. Like, you can get your education paid for, right? And you can put yourself in a better position. Maybe you get into a school that you don't feel like you would have gotten into if you didn't play volleyball. But you have to love it, or you have to find something about that experience that you do love to motivate you and to keep you going. And then the second part is being disciplined in finding things that relax you or get your mind off of it. I really loved my experience at Cornell because we were forced to do other things. Like we would practice in the morning and then we would have class and then we had the whole rest of the day. So like I was kind of forced to join clubs or like go hang out with my friends, like do other things. And like I talked about with the calendar, like scheduling time to actually go do things. Like I'm gonna go to the movies this weekend on our off day, or I'm gonna go to the waterfalls or go swimming and do different stuff like that during the summer, was super important. I have an obsessive personality sometimes, especially with volleyball. Sometimes you just have to cut it because you know, hey, it's gonna be another long day tomorrow. Yeah. Good.
How do you feel now, like not playing volleyball?
Oh, it's been a hard one. I'm trying to play pro in Europe, but that's a pretty complicated process because I have to find a team that specifically needs a middle blocker, and then a lot of teams, and there's kind of rules at the teams in Europe that you can only have so many European players, or only so many American players or non-European players, or only so many players on the court that are like of a certain like nationality. So it's been pretty difficult. And the hardest part about it is I don't have anyone every day telling me to go play volleyball or anywhere where I have to be. So I have to decide, hey, this is my job. Like, when do I want to go lift, or when do I want to go, pass against the wall or do block moves? So it's been hard. Like, the idea of having a team and people that you are committed to beyond yourself that's discipline. And I really think discipline pushes you past motivation. So it's been hard. Yeah. This isn't your last time to ask me a question. Like I said, you guys can follow me on Instagram or follow the podcast. There's an option to like submit a topic for the podcast too, or someone that you want to have on the show. I would recommend that you watch the episode with Kat Fludge. She came on the show a couple weeks ago to talk about what it's like to play at Pitt. So yeah, thank you guys for letting me come in. Thank you, Rapture, for letting me practice with you guys. I had a great time. Yeah.